Good afternoon, everyone. We all gather here in the International IT University to welcome our guests from Spain, from the University Santiago de Compostela. And here, our guests. Introduce yourself, please.
Okay, yes, I'm Tomaz, Fernandez Pena. I'm a full professor now in the University of Santiago de Compostela. It's in Spain, it's in the northwest of Spain. Santiago de Compostela is a quite famous city because it's the end of the Santiago's road, Santiago's way, or the way to Santiago. That is a pilgrimage place. Hundreds of pilgrims come every year to visit the Cathedral of Santiago. It's a very nice place to be. And the university is one of the oldest universities in Spain. It was founded in 1492. Yes, the same year that Colón arrived to America. It was founded by
please come and enter to the university. About ALBA project, can you do a little bit of introducing about this project, what the ALBA project is?
Well, the ALBA project is a cooperation project among some places in Europe, Occidental Europe, and some countries in the Central Asia. The idea of this project is to bring people, the experience of people from the several universities in Spain, Italy, and Slovenia, and to give that experience to people in the University of Central Asia. Here, this university is one of the members of the consortia, but there are other members for the countries like Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan.
So, the most important aim of the project is to, through the courses, make new qualified specialists in data science.
Yes, the objective of the project is to translate the experience of people in universities where the data science, the studies in data science and big data well established, to translate it to universities in the Central Asia, so they can improve to establish this kind of studies.
So our viewers are the average people like me. I'm not an expert, but you are an expert. So can you tell me what is big data is?
Okay, big data is a common word now. It was more or less created at the beginning of the century because some big companies like Google or Microsoft noticed that they receive a lot of data. Most of data from social media like Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, or other YouTube, but also data from sensors, sensor of weather, contaminations. All this data have to be captured and have to be processed and stored. This is a problem because no single computer can do that. So you need an infrastructure composed for a lot of computers that you have to get to work together to process such amount of data. It's data that you cannot process using Excel or other normal solutions. You need to create specific solutions for processing such a big amount of data in a short period of time.
What about your experiences? Can you share your experiences in this field? Maybe some challenges that you met on your big data path, maybe some advices for the beginners. Just share your experience.
Okay, I started working on big data more or less 15 years ago, and we prepare some subjects for a master. We have a master in our universities called the Master in Big Data. So we prepare this subject, and in the research field we try to use the same technology that Google used to process the data from Instagram or for other social network to other applications. In our case, to the DNA alignment for DNA studies. So when you got DNA at the end is a string of characters. So, and you have to process these characters. So we use, instead of using image or using video, we use characters from DNA. and we are able to process this character instead of in several hours, that was the normal time, in few minutes, using these technologies. So there are many things that you can do with big data that is not directly related with most of people think about big data. Other line of studies in astronomy. Information from the telescopes is growing really fast. And scientists have to take all this information and process it. And they are using the same technologies, the same big data technology to do that.
So by these technologies growing, we can say that the relevance of the big data is growing too. Can we talk about the relevance of the big data right now and nowadays?
The big data is so important that they estimated that each month is created in all the world such many data as in all the history of the humanity. I mean, in this...
It's deep.
Yes, it's deep. Because now you have a phone, you are generating data. We're talking now, some years ago, that we're talking is maybe stored in a newspaper, but only few people reach it. Now all this information can be distributed through the internet, and hundreds or even millions of people can reach this information. So each second there are millions of people that is creating new information. All this big data is changing the world because we have access every day to tons of data. The problem is not all data is correct. Some data is fake, some data is fake news or intentionally try to modify the behavior of people. This is one of the other points of research, to be able to discern, separate good data or real data from fake.
So as a person who is an expert in the data field and who worked at the ELBA project, can you say that ELBA project is making a huge impact on big data as a whole?
It does the objective. I don't know if we're going to reach the objective, but that's the idea, to create more people, to give more information to people from Kazakhstan or people from other countries, to start new subjects in this line, and to prepare young people like you or other students in computer science to be expert in this line.
It's your time, youth. It's your time.
Yeah.
And talking about the results of ELBA, what kind of results we already have?
The physical result, we have new labs for preparing people, and probably I think that in the university is going to launch a new masters in this topic. And this is the objective. It's not a research project, but it's a collaboration project. So we don't wait research new solutions, but we wait to get that the university here in Kazakhstan and other countries in Central Asia get better prepared to give new master and new subjects.
You mentioned about new masters, about more qualified specialties, and I just remembered that our professors of our university went to the trip to the Santiago de Compostela.
Yes.
To take courses. What kind of impressions do you have about them as students who who took your courses?
Yeah, but very good impression. I remember I give some, I don't know, not remember how many hours, maybe 8 hours of course, and the people were really interested in the subject. The problem is that it's a subject for not that you can explain in only 8 hours. You need a whole year but we provide all the information, we give all material we have, we prepare for our own masters, we give to them, and I think that they are using now this material for producing his own material for the class.
We're really glad that you have a good impression about them.
Yeah.
But talking about impressions, what kind of impression do you have about our university? Like you are, for the first time here in
Yes.
Kazakhstan, in
Yeah.
Central Asia, that's the
Yeah.
first ABBA laboratory in whole Central Asia that you ever visited. So what kind of impression do you have about our university, about our teachers, maybe Almaty city?
Yes, about the building of the university is really nice. The problem is a different concept of university. The University of Santiago is a large and generalistic university. It have about 25,000 students, and he have it's not specialized. It's not a technological. It's have studies of technology, of medicine, of law. It's a most general one. So. And there are only one in the city. Here seems to be smaller universities, but several universities. But this in particular, I like the buildings, I like the teachers that I talk with, and about the city, I can only say I arrived yesterday, so we visited yesterday the central city, the Asunción Cathedral, that is really nice, and went to the mountains. That was fantastic. The only problem with the mountains is there are too many stairs. We go walking through the stairs, so yes, I don't know how to remember the name. I don't know. I did it.
So you're a healthy person.
Yeah. I reached the top and it was fantastic. Fantastic.
So how do you think did our university made a huge impact on the ALBA project as well? Like what impact our university has in this project?
I don't understand really your question. What impact from our university to?
No, our IT university. What kind of impact did the IT university to the ALBA project?
Oh, yes, that was the central point. The idea of all this project is focusing on this university and the other members. We are only collaborators. We came from other countries in European from Europe, but the focus of the project is in the people here. So the people here were the people that decide the contents, that select the machines that are installing the new labs, and that talk with us to more or less decide the topics we could speak during these days. So the impact of this university is essential.
We are really glad that you liked it here, liked it in our university, in the Almaty city. And for the conclusion, as an expert, what you can wish to the beginners who are the novices in this big data field?
Okay, that now the big data or big data, it depends on how to pronounce, more or less there are a lot of technologies that are more or less settled down. There are some specific technologies, and so more or less in the research field there are things to do, but more or less it's not, I don't like to say that everything is solved, because it's not, but it's more or less stable. There are new lines of research in a topic like the Internet of Things. Internet of Things is really related to big data, because you have a lot of sensors that producing data every second, and you have to process all this data. This joint among Internet of Things of big data is really in the top right now. People prepare in this field I think that can get a good job very soon, because enterprises are very interested in people with this knowledge.
So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for
you.
this interview, and concluding this beautiful interview, we're saying goodbye.
Bye.